Hello students. Mixture of gases make a cover around the earth. Atmosphere is like a cover around the earth. It works like a blanket keeping the earth warm. It can filter the light. It protects us from harmful UV rays. Air is most vital component of biosphere. It holds oxygen we breathe. As you know, air is a mixture of gases besides water vapor and dust particles. It includes nitrogen 78.09%, oxygen 20.94%, argon 0.93%, carbon dioxide 0.03%. There is a balance in a mixture of gas. But humans have been disturbing this balance in different ways, like removal of trees. We call it deforestation of fossil fuels, smoke from industries, cigarettes. Not only that, natural phenomena like volcanic eruptions, forest fires, marsh gas too. Pollutants like carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxides, sulfur oxides, fly ash, dust, all of these have been adding into the environment, making the air dirty. There are changes in physical, chemical, or biological features of air. We can call it air pollution. It is now major public health issue. It causes lot of problems to plants and animals, including humans. In this video, we will discuss different types of air pollutants. What is the source of air pollutant? What are problems getting from air pollutant? We'll talk about all these details. This is Lode Ettaya. I am your biology trainer. Let's get started. First of all, let's have a look for the sources of air pollution. Air can be polluted by natural sources as well as activities of humans. There are mainly two sources cause air pollution. One is natural source, second anthropogenic, or you can say man-made sources. Well students, now let's move on to natural sources. This includes volcanic eruptions, forest fires, marshy areas like wetlands, paddy fields, dust storms from deserts. Some of organisms we call it biological source. For example, polar grains of Parthenian hysterophorus which cause allergy in animals and human beings. How are humans damage the environment? How are humans main problem to the environment? We call it anthropogenic pollution. Let's have a look for man-made air pollution. Humans, we have been making air dirty in multiple ways, like smoke from motor vehicles. Smoke is generating from motor vehicles due to incomplete combustion of petrol or diesel. Basically, petrol, diesel, coal, these are fossil fuels. Fossil fuels release many toxic gases and unburnt hydrocarbons into the air. Emissions from different kind of industries, chemical industries, thermal power plants, refineries, smelters, mining release lot of toxic gases and particulate matter. These are all things due to man-made activity. Well students, we will move on to types of air pollution. You know, there are different types of air pollution. Let's have a quick look. There is some criteria to classify air pollutants. Here we take physical state of air pollutants. Based on this criteria, there are two types of air pollutants, gaseous and particulate pollutants. Gaseous pollutants are carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxides, sulfur oxides. Here you notice physical state is gas. Well students, if we take solid and liquid, then you can say this type is particulate matter. Basically, you can define as particulate matter is a complex mixture of small particles of solid and liquid droplets. Here, small means you can take the measurement of particulate matter in micrometers. Motor vehicles, industries, forest fires, dust storms or generate large quantity of particulate matter. Aerosols, smokes, dust, mist are different kinds of particulate. Not only that, there is another classification of air pollutants. Here you take the criteria like in which form they persist after they release into the air. It means the form of air pollutants like primary or secondary. If they are released directly into the air, if they have a definite source, you can say primary air pollutants. For example, nitrogen oxides, sulfur oxides, particulate matter, emissions of volatile organic compounds and more. They have a definite source. They are released in their original form. Well students, what about secondary pollutants? You know, when primary pollutants are reacted with components of air, new kind of air pollutants are generated. You can call them secondary air pollutants. They don't have a definite source. They are not present naturally in the air. They are new to environment. For example, ozone, peroxyacetyl nitrate. Well students, we will discuss them one by one. Here, you will learn the source of air pollutants and their effects on living organisms. Generally, it depends on concentration of air pollutant, length of exposure to particular air pollutant. They may be minor issues like eye, nose, throat irritation, or major issues like heart or lung problems, even cancer. Not only that, they cause property damage, reduce visibility of environment. First of all, carbon dioxide. It is not a pollutant at 0.03% to 0.05% of concentration. It is important to photosynthesis. It is a greenhouse gas. It keeps the earth warm. but it becomes a pollutant when its critical concentration reaches out. Well students, now we will discuss carbon monoxide. It causes maximum air pollution. It is a colorless, odorless and tasteless gas, so we cannot detect. It is releasing into environment from different sources. For example, automobiles are biggest source, around 80%. Even short-term exposure to carbon monoxide can cause serious health problems in humans. For example, there is strong affinity between hemoglobin and carbon monoxide. There is a reaction between hemoglobin present in our blood and carbon monoxide and form carboxyhemoglobin. It is an irreversible compound. It reduces oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. As a result, oxygen deficiency is taking place in our body. We can say it is hypoxia. How does it happen? Carbon monoxide competes with oxygen to bind hemoglobin. Hemoglobin has greater affinity for carbon monoxide than oxygen, more than 200 times than oxygen. Due to this, no hemoglobin is left to carry oxygen. Thereby, vital tissues do not get oxygen. Then we get hypoxia. It means suffocation, headache, blurred vision, giddiness. If carbon monoxide concentration increases, it leads to coma, finally death. It is highly dangerous gas, but it does not show any adverse effect on plants. Well students, we will discuss now sulfur oxides. Sulfur oxides is a group of pollutants that contain both sulfur and oxygen molecules. Do you know from which point sulfur oxides are releasing into the environment? The majority of sulfur oxides are adding to the environment due to combustion of fossil fuel as well as melting of sulfur ores and oil refineries. Well students, we have talked about the source of sulfur oxides. Now we'll discuss one of the sulfur oxide, that is sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is colorless. It has a distinct taste and smell. Normally it is present at the earth's surface at low concentration, but it is adding more in amount by human activities. Now we are going to discuss effects of sulfur dioxide. Listen carefully. One of the major effects is formation of acid rain. Sulfur dioxide is a major air pollutant in the formation of acid rain. Do you want to know how it is form acid rain? Sulfur oxides react with water vapors present in air and acid. These are component of acid rain. Painted surfaces getting discoloration due to acid rain. Not only that, it causes stone cancer, or you can say rock leprosy. It means peeling of marble, or you can say damage to stone surface. Not only that, it can cause sulfurous smog. Do you want to know about smog? We will be discussing forthcoming part of this lesson. Until you wait, we are going to discuss some other effects. Sulfur dioxide can inhibit electron transport system. Do you want to know the occurrence of sulfur dioxide around us? For that, we can take help from lichens. They are sulfur dioxide indicators because they cannot know where sulfur dioxide reach in concentration. Have you heard about lichens? These are dual organisms by combination of alga and fungus. How does it happen? Why do lichens not grow where sulfur dioxide pollution is there? The main reason for that, sulfur dioxide causes pheophytization in lichens. That means chlorophyll is converted into pheophytin. This is happened due to sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide removes magnesium from chlorophyll molecule and convert into pheophytin. Magnesium is as the central atom in the chlorophyll molecule. Chlorophyll is the pigment that carries out the process of photosynthesis. Without magnesium, chlorophyll doesn't work. It does not drop light. Then they are unable to synthesize food. Then lichens do not grow where SO2 pollution is. Therefore, we call them as sulfur dioxide pollution indicators. Not only that, if we are exposed to sulfur dioxide pollution, we will get eye irritation, shortness of breath, lung disorders. Take care of this sulfur dioxide pollution around us. Well students, we will move on to another air pollutant, that is nitrogen oxides. These includes nitric oxide, nitrogen dioxide and nitrous oxide. Nitrogen oxides generally brown in color. What is the source of nitrogen oxides? How does it harm to us? Now I am going to talk about the sources of nitrogen oxides. The main reason is burning of fossil fuel at high temperature, smoke from motor vehicles, power plants, industries. Well students, what is the effect of nitrogen oxides to the environment? There is a reaction between nitrogen oxides and volatile organic compounds in the presence of sunlight forms peroxyacetyl nitrate. We can write in short form PAN, PAN. It is a secondary pollutant. Basically, these reactions produces smog on hot summer days. Well, students, nitric oxide and nitrogen dioxide harmful to plants and animals, including humans. Irritation of lungs and heart, shortness of breath, it lowers resistance power in humans. These are the effects from nitrogen dioxide. Be aware from nitrogen dioxides. Well, students, I am moving on to another air pollutant, that is volatile organic compounds. You can write in short form VOC. These are volatile organic compounds. These may contain carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, chlorine and sulfur atoms. These are easily become vapors at room temperature. Well, students, now we will talk about the sources of volatile organic compounds. Some are naturally produced by animals and plants, but others come from man-made sources like combustion of fossil fuels, paints, glues. For example, benzene, formaldehyde or volatile organic compounds. Do you know one thing about carpets? Newly manufactured carpets can release formaldehyde. It is carcinogenic. You can say this kind of pollution is indoor pollution. Well, students, I am going to talk about hydrocarbons. These can produce by incomplete combustion of fossil fuels or produces naturally. For example, methane. It is most abundant hydrocarbon. It is a greenhouse gas. Marshy areas like wetlands, paddy fields, cattle generate methane. It is due to methane production bacteria. It produces methane under anaerobic conditions. Well, students, we will discuss another kind of air pollutant, that is particulate matter. You can write in short form PM. It is a mixture of solid particles and liquid droplets that can be suspended in the air. Generally, we call aerosols. There are different kinds of particulates. There are several different sizes of particulate matter. Well, students, we will classify them. Here we will take a criteria, the diameter of particulate matter. Based on that, there are two types of particulate matter. If the diameter of the particulate matter is 10 micrometer or more than 10 micrometer, you can say settleable particulate matter. If the diameter of the particulate matter is less than 10 micrometer, then you can say it is suspended particulate matter. First of all, we will talk about settleable particulate matter. It is easily visible. For example, dust, dirt, soot, coal, ash and smoke. Here soot means black carbon powder. Generally they settle down in less than a day. Well, students, now we will talk about suspended particulate matter. It is extremely small. It is not visible. Therefore, they remain suspended in the air for weeks. For example, airborne asbestos particles and small particles of heavy metals. For example, arsenic, copper, lead and zinc. Well, students, now we will move on to the sources of particulate matter. It includes burning of fossil fuels, thermal power plants, forest fires, cement factories, asbestos mining, spinning and ginning mills. Spinning means processing of raw cotton to make yarn. Ginning means separation of seeds and cotton fiber. Now we'll talk about some of particulate matter like aerosols, smoke, dust, mist and biological particulate matter. First of all, we will talk about aerosols. Aerosols are vapor chemicals which are suspended in air. Oxides of sulfur, oxides of nitrogen and chlorofluorocarbons. The source of chlorofluorocarbons are air conditioners, refrigerators. These can cause ozone depletion. We'll move on to smoke. Smoke is visible suspension of carbon. Then we will move on to fog. What is fog? Fog is visible tiny water droplets or ice crystals suspended in air. So how does fog form? First, it is understand that fog is basically a cloud on the ground. It is low-lying cloud. It is a collection of tiny water droplets formed when evaporated water is cooled. It decreases visibility of environment. We'll talk about dust and mist. Dust means solid particles less than 1 micrometer and mist means liquid droplets less than 1 micrometer in diameter. It causes many problems to humans. For example, cotton dust causes biocenosis. Asbestos causes asbestosis. Workers in stone grinders get silicosis. Workers in coal mines, flour mills, they often suffer from pneumoconiosis. Welders suffer from manganese poisoning. Now we will move on to bioaerosols. You can say biological particulate matter. You can write in short form bio-PM. Bioaerosols are airborne particles that are biological in nature. These are either living or dead organisms. There are two kinds of bioaerosols: viable bioaerosols and non-viable bioaerosols. First, we'll talk about viable bioaerosols. These are air fungi, protozoa, algae, bacteria, and viruses. These can cause disease. Now we'll talk about non-viable bioaerosols. They are pollen, saliva, and insect excreta. These can cause allergic and toxic effects. For example, pollen cause hay fever. Particulate matter gets caught in the nose and throat and will not reach the lungs. According to the Central Pollution Control Board (CPCB), particles of 2.5 micrometers or less in diameter are highly harmful to man and other air-breathing organisms. These particles can reach the deepest parts of the lungs, cause damage, and even enter into the bloodstream. The result of this asthma, bronchitis, emphysema. Well students, this is our today's discussion. We'll meet in next session. Until I am signing off, this is your Lodetaya. I am your biology educator.